active killer or active shooter response bags, such as this one. Now guys, some time back I did a review or a kind of a deep dive into the bag that I keep in my everyday driver, which is very similar to this one, not exactly the same. But this bag here, it stays in my old truck, which doesn't get driven a lot, nor does it go far from home. I also haven't been inside of this bag in several years, so I need to go through it because I'm sure there's some things that need to be changed out, added, removed, things like that. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to go through this bag together, see what needs to come out, and maybe see what needs to go into it, because the loadout I keep in that vehicle has changed, and so there may be some things with this bag that need to change. Now, we're not going to jump into mindset or any of that stuff like I did in the first video. I'll do something like that again a little bit later on. We're just going to solely keep it on the bag. So yeah guys, stay tuned, and we're going to dive into this old bag that I hadn't messed with in several years. So the revamp or redo of the active killer / active shooter response bag will be coming up next, right here on Minuteman Preparedness. Alright guys, so welcome back. So we'll start off with the bag. Obviously I'm not going to be changing the bag, but this is a old bag. I don't even know if they make this anymore, but it is the SOG knives and tools bag. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I probably picked this up on eBay or something like that, because I like this shoulder sling style of bag here. It's very similar to the one I have in my everyday driver, but the bag is really not the deal, guys. I kind of wanted to check out and see what I have in here, because again, the loadout in my old truck has changed, so there may be some things that need to change in this or come out. Maybe some things I need to add to it since time has moved on and I've continued to read and learn about active killer / active shooter responses. Now, real quick, you'll hear me say a lot, I don't refer to it typically as active shooter. I'll say active shooter or active killer, because mass casualty situations aren't just an individual with a firearm. It could be a firearm, it could be explosives, a vehicle, which has been very popular, edged weapon, which is very popular across the ocean over there where firearms aren't as prevalent, but blades and vehicles are. So terminology changed sometime back in law enforcement, well, in my agency anyways, and we kind of quit calling it active shooter and we went to active killer, because there's many ways individuals utilize to, many means people utilize to inflict harm upon a large mass of people. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and dive into this, because we're going to kind of try to keep this short today. All right. So as in the other one, 550 cord, it was kind of a random thing, guys. And honestly, I'll keep 550 cord in here. Am I going to keep 50 foot of it? No, I'm going to change it up. But cordage is always a good thing to have. You have to bear in mind, guys, if you have a setup like this, you already have, more than likely have the mindset behind it. So being able to sustain yourself, you know, in that type of situation is what you want. You want to have things with you you may need, and I have been known to kind of overthink things a lot. But I see a lot of uses for 550 cord, guys, so I threw this 50-foot roll in here, apparently. I'm going to be taking this out and just having maybe 10 foot of 550 cord in here. A lot of uses for it. You never know. You might need to tie 2 doors shut or drop something, you know, down outside of a window to a second floor or something. I don't know. But I'm not going to need 50 foot. I really don't see that. So I'll save some room and downgrade that a little bit. And that is all that is in that pocket. That's kind of surprising. Now here on this side, I've got a handcuff pouch. And I've got a pair of handcuffs, or what we call mechanical restraints. I like to have restraints. I don't know if I'm going to keep the handcuffs. I may go a flex cuff route, just simply because anyone in law enforcement, you know, once you put your cuffs on somebody, if you don't keep your eyes on them, they might get gone. And handcuffs are kind of heavy. Flex cuffs are not. And then I could get rid of this pouch here on the side. So I have restraints there, mechanical restraints. I may end up changing those out just for flex cuffs. And then I have just a small pair of snips here, because I'm pretty sure, I believe I have a set of flex cuffs in here. So that's what these would be for. So I'll probably end up getting rid of the actual handcuffs themselves. All right. So I've got a Enola Gay smoke grenade, one of them. I will obviously be keeping that in there, because that is something very good to have. Being able to pop a smoke and throw a little bit of a screen up where you can skirt past real quick. You know, if someone goes down and they're out in the middle a little bit, they're exposed. If you feel you need to really get out there to them, then having some smoke to kind of give you a little bit of concealment might help out. 2 spare mags for my Glock 43X. So obviously I'll be keeping these in here. Honestly, I would prefer to keep these on the outside here on this MOLLE panel. So I'll more than likely get rid of the handcuffs, put a MOLLE double mag pouch there on the side so I have quicker access to my mags. And surprisingly, that's all that's in there. See what's in this here. I remember I got a lot of flack on the last video I did on this. It's probably been almost a year and a half ago now. I had a small right can fogger of OC spray. People like, you know, why do you need that? Really, for the active killer, active shooter response, no, you're not going to need this at all. But I also kind of have this bag set up during the time when there were a lot of the protests, really riots, people blocking the roadway. And so I keep a riot can, a fogger of OC in all my vehicles. And I put it in this bag because this bag sits right there behind the seat, so it's just kind of easy to grab. Am I going to keep this in there now? Probably, because it keeps it from rolling around in the little back part of the truck there. But for your active killer, active shooter response bag, if you're building one, this is not a necessity. This was just more of ease of keeping it from rolling around in the back of my vehicle for another situation. All right. An ASP baton. Now, I don't have one of these in my other response bag because I have my Asper extendable baton in the door panel. I will probably be moving this from this bag to the door panel of that truck. Now, would an Asp be something kind of handy if you're in the building and you need to break and rake some glass? Yeah, you know, so I don't know. I may keep it in here, I may not. But a baton, I mean, there's a lot of different things you could use to break and rake glass if you're inside of a building. So, not really a necessity, but I don't know about that one. Fixed blade knife. I've got several of these. A fixed blade is always nice to have. This is the CRKT. I really like these little blades here. I've got a handful of them. I bought them years ago when they were pretty inexpensive. But I do like having a fixed blade. And then I've got these things strewn all about. These come from Harbor Freight. They're dual. They're the small, I wouldn't say a bolt cutter. It's more of a small lock. Or really, I keep them for chain link fence. They are perfect size for chain link fence. And guys, these things cost like, I don't know, $8-10 or something like that. So I've got these things strewn all over the place. And that's it for those mag pouches. Now, you may be thinking, well, these are mag pouches for ARs. And yeah, they are. And in my everyday driver, they're stacked with AR mags because I keep an AR in that vehicle. In my old truck, I used to, I don't anymore, and so I don't have any AR mags in here. If I ever add an AR back to that vehicle, then I'll add a stack of mags in here. I've got a couple extra mags, obviously. So I may add a couple in here. That way, if I do have the AR in the truck that day and something does pop off, I will have some spares. So maybe I will add a couple in there, but that is not a weapon that I always have in that vehicle. Just a pair of gloves. These are some old school Blackhawk gloves with the hard knuckles on them. These things are super old, really thick palms and stuff like that, guys. So, you know, if you got to pull some glass out or do something like that, that's something good to have. Couple pairs of flex cuffs here, so that's where that comes into play. So I'll more than likely be getting rid of the mechanical restraints. A spit hood. I'll probably be getting rid of this. This is just some carryover from the law enforcement days. I had a boatload of those things. A little boo-boo / ouch kit. Now, I do remember in the main one I have in my everyday driver, I keep one of these. And honestly, guys, when you're dealing with the active killer, active shooter, you're not worried about boo-boos. Honestly, at that point in time, you're not worried about medical because your main priority is dealing with the threat. Once the threat is down and secure, weapon secure, and everything is clear, then you can start worrying about medical. But the main idea behind this, guys, is once all that is done, if you have a kid in there with you that's involved in this situation, that was caught up in this mess, you know, if it's a school or something like that, you know, Band-Aids and things like that typically kind of calm kids down, even if they really don't have much of a boo-boo. But just putting a Band-Aid a lot of time kind of has that mental thing in kids' heads. So I keep some Band-Aids and things like that. It may help calm a child down. And then obviously I knew this was in here, and that's it. A complete and full IFAK. I'm not going to break this down, but a full and complete IFAK. So guys, I can see the main idea behind this video was to go through this and see what needs to come out and what needs to be added. So this right here will be downgraded. These right here will be coming out. I can tell you right now, I want to add a small pry bar to go along with the chain link fence cutters there. I want to add a small writing rain pad and pencil because I like to be able to have items so I can write. I'm going to add a couple of door stops. I've done a video on those. They're the orange, kind of look like a U. You slide them over the frame of the door, or you can put it down in the hinge to keep a door open. I will be adding some of those into this. I'm going to probably add, I know there's a tourniquet in here. I'm going to probably add another tourniquet and attach that tourniquet in a pouch to the outside here, just like I have on my everyday driver, active killer, active shooter response bag. So I will be adding that. I'll probably add a few pieces of hard candy in here because once that situation is over, you got that adrenaline dump and all these things, guys. A piece of hard candy or something might kind of help you out in that situation. So I'll just throw something like that in here. So yeah, so the door stops, the small pry bar. I'll probably add like 2 AR mags, even though I don't keep an AR in that vehicle, but sometimes I have one in there, so I'll add that. Remove the cuff pouch, put the pouch on the outside for the pistol mags that I always have with me. A flashlight. I have several flashlights in that vehicle, and on my kit I have a flashlight, but I'm going to add an extra flashlight in here for redundancy and probably a spare set of batteries for that. But guys, this video has gone long enough. Again, I hadn't been inside of this bag in several years, so I thought it would be interesting to kind of see what I had in there from a couple years ago and see what I'm going to take out and the things that I'm going to add to it. But yeah, guys, that's it. Y'all stay safe. You have a good one. And I'm going to get this bag revamped. Y'all have a good day.